setup. This is nice, right? If you have suggestions for what I should put on my bulletin board, let me know. It's good to see you again. If you're new here, my name's Jane B. I make mostly videos about Ace Attorney, but whatever brings me joy, honestly. So today we're going to be talking about very topical, okay? They've just released the trailer for the Apollo Justice Trilogy Remastered, and kind of hyped, not gonna lie. Seems kind of fun. Could be cute. I think it's gonna be fire. I cannot wait to play it on Windows. We played the original trilogy on Windows, and then the Apollo Justice Trilogy we've played on mobile, which was, it's portable, it's nice, but it's not the same. I cannot wait to see Dirk Sabmati, Simon Blackquill, Clavier Gavin in Mega HD. It's gonna be great. So today I'm going to be talking about the character ATHENA CYKES. She is one of the lawyers at the Write Anything agency. She is introduced in Dual Destinies, which I forgot. I thought she was introduced in Apollo Justice. I was wrong, obviously. Every game in the Apollo Justice trilogy kind of brings in a new, gimmick or a new little skill that you can do. And what ATHENA brings is the power of analytical psychology. And she can, hear people's secrets in their voices. And she's got her necklace Widget, who has the 4 different emotions in the corner. She can pick up on people's emotions. And if the emotion doesn't match with what they're saying, then she's like, aha, you liar! And personally, I kind of feel like ATHENA is somewhat problematic. She generally, especially in Dual Destinies, she uses Widget to expose people's secrets, in public, in court, not even always things that end up being relevant to the case or that end up being minorly relevant. And it seems kind of mean, it doesn't seem like something you should be doing. She outs Robin as being a girl. Seems questionable in my opinion. She reveals that Juniper has a crush on her co-worker, which is just I'm not even gonna touch that. That seems not okay. And she's generally pretty manipulative. Now, she definitely has her good moments. She's not a bad character. I personally find her pretty enjoyable to hang out with, and by the time Spirit of Justice comes around, she's more normal. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the blame for her actions falls on Apollo, because she is still a teenager, and he is a grown man. And I feel like a lot of the stuff she does he should kind of be saying to her, no, we don't act that way around here, that's not how we do. But he never, no pun intended, raises an objection about that. So there's some questionableness there for sure. But, okay, let's get into it. You know why you clicked on the video. You want the answer to the question. Does ATHENA CYKES have autism? Yes. I feel like there are 3 main facets of ATHENA's neurodivergent traits. The first one is the way she interacts is unusual. The second one is obviously Widget. And the third one is the way she is as a kid. Because we get a little bit of a glimpse into childhood ATHENA, and I think that will be very informative to us on today's journey. So, first of all, the way she acts. Aside from what I've already mentioned, doesn't seem to have qualms with being manipulative or doing things that other people would consider mean. She also is a little bit childlike, which is pretty characteristic of teenagers in Ace Attorney generally. Maybe we need a follow-up video about whether other characters have autism, but that is definitely a common trait, is retaining behaviors or interests from childhood, because when you have autism, your brain doesn't prune the same connections. She is almost at times hyper emotional, which is, you might think, oh, she's got emotions, she's got feelings. That can't be autism. She doesn't have like flat affect, she doesn't have like trouble relating to people, but she definitely, her emotions aren't always matched to the situation. And she shares a lot of these traits with like Maya and Trucy, but she's a little bit like stuck in her ways almost. When she wants something, she wants it, and she doesn't give up on that, despite sometimes reservations from other people. And I feel like some of the disconnect between, or the differences between her and other characters, is that Athena does things that are like potentially genuinely damaging. Like Maya, okay, Maya's known for a little bit of stealing, a little bit of petty theft, if you will. You know, Trucy's always goofing on people. But with Athena, it's a little bit different. Like, she's kind of doing things that you wouldn't really, like, condone in a normal situation. And sometimes because she's in court, she gets away with it, but it's like, that's not, so someone should say something. And she doesn't even seem aware of that. Like, she has no conception of the fact that what she's doing would be perceived as wrong. But she also has a strong sense of justice, and she can get fixated on one thing and not let go of it, both of these being exemplified in what she did for Simon. I don't know if you count it as doing it for him, because he didn't really want it. She also has some little quirks of behavior that are also, I would classify as symptoms of autism. She's got what could be considered a stim. I would call the thing where she plays with her hair a stim. Potentially some of her damage sprites, is that what they're called? And also Widget, who can speak her thoughts. We'll freaking get into Widget in a second. Widget, who can speak her thoughts, will sometimes blurt them out at inopportune moments or at times where you wouldn't want them to be said, which that's also a trait, is kind of not knowing when it's your turn to speak or not knowing what you're supposed to say. Okay, now I know you've been waiting for it. Let's get into it. Widget. So, Widget was made for Athena by her mom, Metis, who died, obviously. And I personally think that part of the reason that they had such a clashing is that they both probably had autism. I think that's why Metis, didn't seem to love Athena or didn't show love for Athena. So, Widget was made by Metis for Athena, presumably to help her communicate in some ways, because Widget does speak Athena's thoughts, which kind of lends to a theory of almost a nonverbal or minimally verbal younger Athena. And what Widget also does, which we mostly use in court, is to detect people's emotions, and then you have to use your logical brain to figure out if those emotions line up with what the person is saying. And to me, this just screams autism. So, Athena has the trait where she can hear what people are feeling in their voice. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, probably should have said this sooner in the video. I show strong symptoms of autism, if you can't tell already. I'm not diagnosed with anything, but, we're pretty sure. And I have what is called pathological demand avoidance, which means basically that if someone asks you to do something, if you feel like you're being forced into it, you can be very resistant to that. And another trait that's commonly associated with pathological demand avoidance is being able to see other people's intentions, not intentions, but like what like vibe they're projecting out into the world. And I have this so strongly. Like, people lie all the time. People be lying, guys. I don't know if you knew about this, but people will lie about what they're feeling or what they mean, and to me, it's like blasted into my brain the truth of what they're feeling, and it's not fun because, you know, you say you're not angry, you're acting angry, and, you know, you get into a little snit about that, but I feel like what Athena has is definitely, like, an extreme version of that, where other people's emotions, she's hyper empathetic, that other people's emotions are so overwhelming to her that at times she can't, like, even function, and, like, Widget can help her sort through those if she's, like, I sometimes feel this, that you're just getting something, you don't know what it is, but this person is putting out just a vibe and energy that's overwhelming to you, so Widget is there to help her sort through, okay, what is this person actually feeling, and does that line up with what they're saying? This is very relatable to me. So I feel like both those functions of Widget kind of giving autism, guys. Kind of giving autism. And then, of course, that brings us right into Athena's childhood. So, I feel like the most autism thing about her childhood is the headphones. The sound-canceling headphones are just a stereotype of autism almost, and for a lot of people they are extremely genuinely helpful. Obviously they were helpful for Athena. She had said that they hurt her head. Unclear whether she means the headphones physically hurt, or that, like, having all the sound blocked out and trying to navigate the world that way gave her a headache. But obviously they were made for her by Metis as, like, a gift to block out the, you know, the emotions of other people, sounds, whatever, because she was getting so overwhelmed by them as a child all the time. So this definitely is, that's a big one for sure. Another one is the fact that she had trouble telling the difference between, or understanding the difference between robots and people, with Metis and Aura being, like, having the ability to make robots that are so human-like, like Ponko and Klonko, having those rolling around her entire childhood and not getting as much interaction with other kids as a normal child would. I think that that's definitely pretty believable, is that a kid with autism is having trouble separating the difference between what is a person and what is not a person. As a kid, I personally basically didn't speak to adults, and probably part of that is because I was scared, but I think a big part of that is because I didn't even, like, conceive of adults as people, if that makes sense. Like, they'd talk to me and I would just not say anything. We have videos of me with my sisters as a kid, and just, you know, they're doing an activity, they're having fun, and I'm just sitting quietly, fully engaged, but just watching and not really participating. And we definitely see some of that in baby Athena as well, who is homeschooled. She spends most of her time at the space station with her mom. So she doesn't exactly learn normal social skills, which is probably part of why she is the way she is. And then another part of that is the way she reacts to trauma. So obviously she is a very little kid when Metis dies and she finds the body, and she obviously ends up repressing this memory, and eventually it ends up surfacing and she has what is seemingly a meltdown. But people with autism are more prone to post-traumatic stress disorder, which obviously Athena had. And also this trauma kind of ended in a possibly a special interest for her, with definitely and overly, she really latched onto the idea of saving Simon because she knew that he didn't do it, and being a defense attorney, and also like psychology and stuff. So obviously a lot of people picture autism as being accompanied by a learning disability, but that is generally not really the case. I believe it's 30-ish% of people with autism have a learning disability, but it could be even less than that because people, especially girls, are underdiagnosed, so the statistics can get a little screwy. So let's look at just the diagnostic criteria from the DSM-5 here. And let's see, this is a brief overview. If you want me to do an in-depth one, you gotta leave me a comment. I'm not getting into that right now. So I'm just gonna compare her against a couple of the diagnostic criteria. So there are two main categories for diagnosing autism. One is persistent deficits in social communication and social interaction across multiple contexts. Talk to me about Widget, guys. Talk to me about Widget. And just the way that she's a little odd. She's a little quirky, if you will. And two, being restricted, repetitive patterns of behavior, interest, or activities manifested by at least two of the following: stereotyped or repetitive movements, use of objects or speech, insistence on sameness, inflexible adherence to routines or ritualized patterns of behavior, highly restricted, fixated interests of abnormal intensity or focus, hyper or hyporeactivity to sensory input or unusual interests in sensory aspects of the environment. Talking about Widget, guys? Talking about the headphones? I'd say she definitely has a lot of these traits, and obviously autistic people have a lot of traits that are abnormal that they don't always show to the public, and when you do that, when you kind of hide who you are and you act normal, is called masking. And you can mask a lot or not a lot. Some people are better at it than other people. Athena is obviously quite high masking because, as we can see, as a kid, she was kept out of school, and a lot of the stuff we talked about, she just, she was a weird little kid. And we love that about her. And I also do feel like she retains some of this, not always understanding social conventions, or even just being, what you might be able to chalk up to just an awkward, weird teenager, of which Ace Attorney has plenty, but in combination with her other traits, I would say are probably symptoms of a larger situation. Is that fair to say? Now, I feel like a lot of people, because it is classified as a disorder, a lot of people view autism as a negative thing, when I feel like it's neutral. Like, it is, you are the way you are, and it really depends on your circumstances and whether your needs being met. It can definitely cause people a lot of duress, and in some cases, people can be abused because of it, or severely mistreated. People with autism are often cast out of social circles or not accepted because of the way that they act, or even just traits that they have, like having strong interests. And autistic people do tend to stick together, so you'll have groups of autistic people together and groups of neurotypical people together, and they don't always mix, so people may not even know that many people with autism, or if they're masking around you, you may not know that some of your friends have autism. I encourage you to have a discussion in the comments. Please be respectful. Don't be mean. I know you can be mature about this. If you liked this video, I do have a Patreon. The link is in the description. You will get access to exclusive content that I only put there. And if you guys subscribe to the Patreon, I'll put up a poll, and you guys can tell me what kind of stuff you'd like to see more of. I put like videos or reels that I didn't feel like posting, or I didn't think were good enough to post, so stuff from the cutting room floor. And I also put like behind the scenes stuff, so stuff about how I make my videos. So if you want to support me, that's a great way to do it. Please, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And leave a like if you like this kind of video, and I'll try to make more long form content, video essay type of stuff if you guys are into this. If you liked this video, you can watch my video about the Mega AU that I have. The link will be in the card. And I have a playlist of videos about Ace Attorney, mostly vertical videos, shorts, reels, TikToks, whatever you want to call them. But I also do a lot of cosplay and animatics and other stuff like that. I am also the writer and producer for Ace Attorney Dungeons & Dragons. We just finished the first season, The Toxic Turnabout, and we are going to have a mini campaign this winter, closed admissions, so same group as Toxic, and if I do write another season, admissions will reopen in the spring if you are interested in joining for the next full season. I also am always happy to welcome creatives to the team, so, you know, writers, animators, artists, whatever you want to do. If you have interest in contributing, let me know. You know where to find me. My socials are also in the description. I post memes and stuff if you're into that. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Once again, my name is Jane B, and it's been really fun hanging out with you.